Welcome to Tokyo Wave, recorded in a live studio in Harajuku, Japan, with your hosts Aaron and Parker. Alright everyone, welcome to episode 100 of Tokyo Wave. We're your hosts Aaron Randall
and Parker Allen. Today we are joined by a special guest, voice actress, entrepreneur, and improv comedian Donna Burke.
On Tokyo Wave, we bring you weekly updates from our studio in Harajuku.
Join us in segments featuring this week's top news,
political happenings,
business,
and other random stuff.
Alright, to get us started, here are this week's top news highlights.
Japan university student dies after collapsing during baseball practice. Ambulance not called.
Japan to slowly resume accepting foreign tourists from June 10th.
Okinawa governor apologizes for joking, "I'm Zelensky," when taking seat at meeting. This week in Japan.
Alright, here's our top news item for this week. Japan university student dies after collapsing during baseball practice with ambulance not called.
A senior in a college baseball team collapsed while running on May 14th and died the following day, a Central Japan University announced on May 26th.
The head coach of the Gifu Kyoritsu University team and others on the scene did not call an ambulance, but instead transported the 22-year-old male student to a hospital in a team car about 30 minutes after he collapsed. The university, located in Ogaki, Gifu Prefecture, will establish a third-party committee to investigate whether there were any problems in handling the situation.
According to the university, the student collapsed on a field during practice on the morning of May 14th. He had been running with other members of the team for about an hour under the direction of a staff member. Immediately after he collapsed, he was conscious and was taken to the hospital in the city in a car driven by the head coach, who explained to the university that he suspected heat stroke. By the time the student arrived at the hospital, approximately 40 minutes is said to have passed since he collapsed.
The 22-year-old was found to be infected with the coronavirus in a test before hospitalization. He was then transferred to another hospital where infection control measures were taken, but he died on May 15th. The university has not revealed the cause of death.
Yeah, heat stroke in Japan is no joke.
It isn't, and the coronavirus protocols, especially in rural Japan, seem to be kind of all over the place. So I think a combination of too much exercise, not enough water, and stupid COVID protocols led to this unfortunate death.
Unfortunately, yeah. Alright, and up next, Japan to slowly resume accepting foreign tourists from June 10th.
Japan will resume accepting foreign tourists from June 10th. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said on May the 26th as the country continues to ease its COVID-19 border controls.
Kishida's announcement was made during an international event in Tokyo and came ahead of Japan's move to double the current cap on daily entries to 20,000 from early June. To reduce the potential spread of infections, tourism arrivals will initially be limited to guided tour groups.
The government's decision will set the stage for reviving inbound tourism for the first time in about 2 years since the pandemic.
Transport and Tourism Ministry has been inviting travel companies and employees from Australia, Singapore, Thailand, and the United States for small-scale test tours of Japan.
And these test tours seem kind of like test tubes because they are really testing the testiness.
Yeah, monitoring absolutely everything.
And it's all over the TV. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So the ministry has compiled guidelines for accommodation facilities and other tourism businesses and plans to call on inbound visitors to take antivirus measures such as wearing masks.
So, this is another big failure, I think, of the JP government PR-wise, because I've had so many friends email and message me, "Hey, Japan's open back up." And I've had to been like, yeah, but it's
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. It's a slow rollout. Now it's very selective tour groups. The hotels have to participate and be monitored, so.
And up next, Okinawa governor apologizes for joking, "I'm Zelensky," when taking seat at meeting.
Okinawa Governor Denny Tamaki referred to himself as Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky when taking a seat at a May 25th meeting of experts on the issue of U.S. military bases in the prefecture.
"I'm Zelensky," he said, before he quickly took back the words, saying it was, quote, a joke. Tamaki is expected to announce soon that he will be standing for re-election in the September Okinawa gubernatorial race, but his careless remark may invite criticism. Gotta say, what a dumb thing to say before a divisive election. You know, the LDP is already gearing up to mount a massive offensive against this guy. And he says, "I'm Zelensky." Like what does that even mean? I mean, he's trying to compare himself to the Ukrainian prime minister who's being bombed by Putin. Yeah, I don't think Tokyo's been sending any bombs to Okinawa. I mean, what was he trying to do?
It almost seems staged, like he doesn't want to get elected or something, you know?
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. All right, and coming up next, we have a very special interview with Donna Burke, who is an Australian singer, actress, writer, and entrepreneur who has lived in Tokyo since 1996.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Tokyo Wave.
In 2004, Donna founded DAG Music, a sound production studio, and Hotties, Japanese heat pads which are endorsed by the Australian Physiotherapy Association.
Donna sings, acts, and writes lyrics for iconic video games including Silent Hill 2 and 3, Fitboxing, ARMS, and Metal Gear Solid, and the anime Tokyo Ghoul.
She has also been the English announcer on the Tokaido Shinkansen since 2003.
Donna performs with the Improvazilla comedy show and loves how improv has enriched her music, acting, and business career.
Donna, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks, guys. Nice to be here.
It's great to have you.
So, you are from Australia and moved to Japan in 1996. What brought you here?
I think I desperately wanted to get out of Perth. I sort of wanted something exciting to happen. I was 30 and desperate.
What was so bad about Perth?
Suburbia. It could be suburbia or anywhere. You know, it could have been London suburbia. It could have been, you know, American suburbia. The suburbs, baby. It's good if you're married with kids, but not if you're, yeah. I had big dreams and they weren't going to happen in Perth.
Right. And so, obviously, you came to Japan, and how did you get here?
By a plane. Yeah, I bought a plane ticket. It's this device that goes in the sky. It's a silver tube. You sit in a chair, they strap you in, occasionally bring you food and snacks. It's an amazing technology. You'll love it.
Oh my
You should
God.
try it.
I got to try that out. That sounds really cool.
It's a series of tubes. But seriously though, so how did you get your start in Japan?
I got a job. I interviewed for the job in London and I came here as a teacher, and that they didn't want someone who could actually teach, which I could. I was a high school teacher. They just wanted conversationals. And the population was going down. Even then they had depopulation problem, and within 9 months the school began to struggle and they let me go. But already I was doing some singing jobs on the weekend, singing at weddings. And similar to the place where your office, I'm sure I sang at weddings there back in the day when they first opened it up. I used to be a wedding singer. I used to earn lots of money on the weekend. It was
There was a really cool movie about that.
yeah. I'm not in that one, but yeah, it's so that's how I got my start. And then from there I got TV commercials and then video games. And as you know, in Japan, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you do one good job, then that leads to lots of other great opportunities. So don't stuff it up. Am I allowed to swear on this podcast?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Please,
God.
swear away.
Now you tell me.
Yee-hoo!
All right.
And so in 1999, you began working as a freelance announcer for NHK and other media. How did you get into voice acting?
Through my best friend, Kim Forsyth, who is an iconic voice actress. And she she's in Iron Chef. Her voice is still on SoftBank, drive your dreams. This is NTT Docomo. She's American, so that she talks this weird American accent because she's American. So, yeah, she
Where?
I don't know. You talk real weird.
Hey, there's just something about us. We just, we like
I can't understand a word you're saying.
freedom, guys.
There's a lot of variations as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, she got me, and also my husband was working for NHK at the time, but he was very reluctant to introduce to me because, if I didn't do well, then it would reflect badly on him. But yeah, so everything leads to something great here, and you're a big fish in a small pond, and there's amazing opportunities. So, yeah, I've just loved it. I love the lack of competition. It's been marvelous.
That's awesome.
I guess it helps when you're, amazing at your job. I mean, come on.
So, Donna, you're also a talented musician and have served as the lyricist for numerous Japanese TV commercials, anime songs, J-pop group tunes. Which of these was the most memorable for you?
I think writing lyrics for, I've written so many lyrics, but writing lyrics for games and that people get to sing along to, so for Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, it's actually called adapting lyrics because often I don't actually come up with the idea, but so you adapt the Japanese lyrics. Yeah, so, and meeting fans, I mean, writing lyrics for a TV commercial, you might see it at the gym, but writing lyrics for games, you get fans all over the world who, connect, so that's pretty cool.
For sure. And, when you came in today, you mentioned this is my industry, the game industry, and Final Fantasy, especially for people my age and Parker's age, was like so big. And when you say you did the lyrics in those games, I know like the Final Fantasy series started to incorporate like actual singing in a lot of their games. I think from, what was it, Final Fantasy VIII?
Well, see, you're asking me a very technical question, and now I have to reveal to the audience that I never play the games, even though I'm in the industry. So thank you for sort of outing me.
We can edit it out if you don't.
So, yeah, I think opening and closing themes. So for, we mentioned earlier, for working with Yoko Kanno, doing the theme song for a movie, that was a big thing, opening and closing for Crystal Chronicles, and yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Japanese, anime and games tend to have vocals on the opening and closing, right? That's like a big thing.
Indeed. I gotta say though, looking at your Wikipedia, I was such a fanboy of Shenmue, and I mentioned it when we were about to start, and you said, "Oh, what's Shenmue?"
I got paid 100,000 yen to do 5 lines. It was the most social, fun thing that we just sat around with a bunch of voice actors, which they all. This is why it blew out. It was in the record books for years as being the most expensive video game ever made, and I saw them waste money, literally sitting for 4-hour blocks, just chatting in a room like this, waiting to get a call. Oh, sorry, and you got paid for just sitting around doing nothing, and yeah, they just blew money.
And they made a fantastic video game as a result. Unfortunately, Dreamcast fortunes were not so fortunate. But what a game. What were your 5 lines? I'm curious.
Oh, God.
It was a long time ago.
It was so my character was so immemorable that I cannot remember. I just remember a guy who was a voice actor died around the same time. We all had to go to his wake, and we had to sit, and we saw the boy. He was an American voice actor, and we had to sit in a room, and this woman who could not sing, another voice actress, sat playing guitar badly and singing next to his body. So I've just got lots of memories around Shenmue, but it involves dead bodies and nothing to do with the game.
Shit. That's how it works sometimes. But we really cannot talk about your career without talking about what you did in 2003 when you became the voice of the Tokaido Shinkansen. How did that come about? I am so curious.
I was asked to audition, and I remember going to. They've since bulldozed the building, going to this very dingy, dark studio filled with male executives smoking cigarettes. Disgusting. These were the days, 2000. It was probably 2002. Everyone's fagging away. Long line of women, and all they wanted was, can you speak English with a British accent, and can you sound like the woman who's been doing it for the past 10 years? And I'm like, challenge accepted. I've imitated school teachers my whole school career. Bring it on, baby. Let's listen to this sucker. And it was a Canadian woman who was pretending to be British accent. And she, dun 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 dun. And I'm like, I don't really like this intonation. I'd be more like, welcome to the Shinkansen. This isn't, no. You need to sound exactly like the woman before and take a breath exactly when she took it, even though it might be unnatural. So I'm like, oh, God. So, nailed it, and that's how I got the job. So it's not really my natural intonation, but now it's become mine. I can't imagine doing it any other way. Then let me do it. Are we going to do it?
Yes.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shinkansen. This is a Tokyo Wave podcast taking you out of Japan, and I don't have a script, so it's difficult to keep going on and on and on. The end. There.
Amazing.
You'd think I do improv, I'd be better, but thank you.
Wow.
That's fantastic. No, I mean, how many times have we heard Donna's voice on that train? I mean,
So many.
I never shut up.
It's amazing. And it's good. It's so good.
It's very relaxing.
Yeah, it's like, it just makes you feel like, I obviously, they went the British voice. They wanted to sound posh. They wanted to be fancy. And you nailed it. I mean, it really...
Let me just stop here. I did the first one in 2003 with the Pommy accent, which is in British. Then they asked me to do the whole thing again in 2005 because they invented some new stations, I can't remember. And I just thought, stuff it. The Japanese would know a British accent over a posh Australian one. And I just went with posh Australian. So now that is posh Australian you're listening to. So if you're an Aussie or an English person, you'll know that it's definitely an Aussie who's a bit posh.
Right.
And with it, you almost created your own tonal vocabulary with the intonation.
No, they created it and I had to copy.
Oh, no, it's like, it's almost though, but it's sort of like jazz. Like they created the drum line, and the drum line might have been shit, but you improvised on that drum line and made it your own. And it has become canon.
Well, thank you. I will just leave it there.
I think they need to add it to planes. I hate flying, but when I get on the Shinkansen on this specific one, I always feel so chill on the Shinkansen.
They do design to sound like a mother. Aaron, Parker, I know it's terribly early, but would you please wake up? You're about to be late for school. Mummy loves you. I think that's where they were going for. They said, imagine there's all these, and it's very sexist. Salarymen, they're tired, and we want to gently, everyone's always asleep on the train because they're so exhausted and overworked. So my job is to gently wake them up.
Right.
Wow.
As opposed to my natural, the next station's coming. Oi, you, aisle 3. Yes, we can all hear you snoring. That's going to open on the left side. Yeah, you're welcome. Cheers, mate. So I don't think that would.
I want to crack at this. I want to take a different tact on the Tokaido Shinkansen because I got a story for y'all. Last time I was on the Tokaido Shinkansen, I was going to Kobe for a very important conference, and I was tired as hell, and I wanted to take a nap. And the dickhead in the seat across from me started a goddamn Zoom call on speakerphone in the middle of the train. So I wanted Donna to come on and say, hey, y'all Zoom call having ass sons of bitches, y'all better shut the fuck up, because this ain't no damn meeting hall.
Well, actually, now that you've said that, you're probably going to speak this into existence, because there was some, I'm sure, please don't lie to your fellow passenger on the plane. Yeah, please don't use fire, because we had someone like, please don't use terrorist things because there's terrorism. Please.
Yes. Please don't use speakerphone because it makes you look like a douche.
Annoys the neighbours. Remember that call, that woman on the Tokyo limousine? Please don't use your cell phone as it annoys the neighbours. Remember that lady in the really old lady voice?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you. Now that I'm going to have to go back and please don't do Zoom calls.
Yeah.
That's rush. Was he Japanese? Nihonjin?
Of course.
No, really.
And he looked like a shacho, like he was like calling in for.
Were you in the green car? Let's just.
I was in the green car.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. I was in the green car. I wanted to relax.
Yeah, that's naughty. I would have said something. I would have just.
Oh, I did say something.
Oh yeah.
I got full Karen, and I wasn't American Karen either. I was Japanese Karen. I immediately got my bags, got my coat, went out of the car to the station master, said, "There's a man in aisle B27 who's talking on the Zoom call, and I would like to change my seat, sir, because it is very annoying to me and other passengers." And so I got a seat in another car.
I would never think to do that.
It was like,
I would just have told him.
My anger was combined with my understanding that if I communicated my anger to the individual having the Zoom call in the way that I wanted to, I would have probably had to whoop his ass. I wasn't in the mood, so I knew that I had to diffuse myself by doing the passive-aggressive thing, which is to go tattle on to the station.
It's so funny. Because you're as a woman, I would never think I would have to follow it up telling someone with like possible physical violence. It's such an interesting male perspective on something, which I would have just like done my, I'm doing a like, I'm so terribly sorry to bother you face. And then it's like when I said, please don't smoke. And they just, they panic and they put their cigarette out.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God,
yeah.
They eat it.
They see this beautiful, innocent face with the slightly perplexed expression. And then I never think to me that they're just going to boof me. But maybe for guys, that's
It'll
a
be that
possibility.
one time when you least expect it.
I have a really dumb story when I was at izakaya and these Japanese guys were smoking and all the smoke was, coming in my face and all my Japanese friends' face. And I had way too many beers and some other stuff. And I think I yelled at the waiter so that way the other Japanese guys could hear. And I'm like, I'm American and I'm not going to put up with this shit.
Oh.
And like, it was like in crappy Japanese because it was probably my first year here.
Oh no, this is so embarrassing.
And then really, oh my gosh, this is my first year here too. So like, I didn't realize how bad this was too. Like, for my Japanese friends that were at the same table. And so I got up, like, I think I went to the bathroom and I passed by the guys and I said it again to them. I'm like, I'm American.
Oh no! Oh my God!
And you guys are not going to blow smoke at our table.
No.
But, and one of the guys was cracking up. And now I get why, because it's like, holy shit, like
This guy is dumb as hell.
Or it's very,
Oh my
very
God!
entertaining.
And now I work in a publicity firm.
Yeah. But
you gotta
it
love
did work.
else,
They
yeah.
did put out their cigarettes.
Well, I'm American. That's a new one.
Oh my God!
That's a new one right there.
No, I've heard Aussie guys say that, do really naughty things on the train. This is like back in the day, 20 years ago, and then they would get off the train and go, USA, you. Like, so poor Americans got like absolutely shat on by these naughty Aussies. So all the political problems that you're inheriting.
I gotta say,
Whoa.
that's classy.
Dude, that's so smart.
That's classy.
When we go back to the States, I hear that all the time. USA. Like when especially go out to bars and stuff in Florida.
You know what we should start doing?
You should. Okay, here's a trick. You can make this, all the Americans listening, you can just turn this around by doing really naughty things on the train or anywhere and going, oi, 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. and then
But we
putting
can't do
pouring all
convincing
shit all over.
Australian accents.
Yeah, it's really.
Yeah,
well-
because American accents are so easy to do. You just
I
have
mean,
to
look, you just have to.
just take some brain cells out, and you can talk like an American. It's
I'll
easy.
teach you how to speak Australian.
All right.
Follow me.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
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 So now string it together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah.
you can speak Australian. Well done.
Yeah.
All right.
nah.
All right. Let's
done.
try this. Let's try this business. I don't think I'm gonna try this very long.
I can't understand the word you're saying now. What language is that?
Oh, it's this one part of Australia that I visited, and you might not know the name of it. You know, it's like even to Australians, it doesn't sound Australian.
I'm from Southeast Australia. That's how we talk.
No one talks like that down there unless they're extras on some weird ass TV show.
How do you do that? Yeah, you actually have a pretty good Southern accent.
Yeah.
Is there a
that was
story
good.
there? Or did you just figure it out?
I think I watched so many crappy TV shows in the 70s because goddamn Australia didn't make any shitty TV shows. We didn't even have TVs to make.
Did you watch Dukes of Hazzard? I can tell.
Dukes of Hazzard,
Hell yeah.
Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah, oh, can I get a hell yeah?
There
can
you
I get
go.
a hell yeah, sir?
Hell yeah,
All
hell yeah,
right.
brother.
Yeah.
We just watched all the shows were either English or American. So
Did you watch trashy TV like Jerry Springer?
yes, but when I was a kid,
I
They didn't have
probably
that.
was a scarring experience.
Just curious. I've met some other people, you know, in Tokyo recently that like that stuff.
Did I tell you about my friend from Iceland who looked and talked just like Chandler from Friends?
no.
It was so weird. It was like, it's like Chandler, but you're from Iceland. But you look like Chandler and you talk like Chandler.
Whoa.
Can you just like be Chandler, please? I want to be friends with Chandler. But his name was like, you know, lots of consonants.
Well, I heard before the show you're pretty good at accents. So,
I don't know
but we
about
were
that.
saying that a lot of them are un-PC. So
Accents have been killed by cancel culture. Accents
well,
got
how
canceled.
how come you're not offended by me doing a Tennessee accent?
Because we are endeared by fellow people trying to talk like we talk.
We come from the
Yeah,
Southeast. so-
exactly. It's inclusive. We're trying
But
to be
also,
inclusive.
when other people try to do Australian accents, we find it endearing. So
Really?
it's because you're so rubbish at it. It's
I know
hilarious.
yeah, but that's the problem, though. It's like
It's like watching a baby horse
Yeah,
take its
common-
steps for the first time. It's cute.
Commonwealth people just like kill us with the accents because they can do American accents, but we can't do their accents. It's unfair. We are so bad at everything
USA.
except for war.
USA.
We're really good at war.
Man, that cracks me up every time I go back to the States and I hear people chanting USA. God.
I just think that's just their version of oi, 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 Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Yeah. It's sort of lads out for a good time.
Oi, oi, oi!
Yeah.
Aussie.
That's it.
Yay!
You can be an Australian hooligan. You've graduated.
The guys who are chanting the USA though back in the States are not the kind of people that it's usually a specific type of group, you know? Ones that you don't really want to hang out with.
Oh, the ones who carry tiki torches?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
There were bad
You know-
people on both sides.
I saw a tiki torch in Saitama the other day, and I felt like I wanted to shed a tear for that poor tiki torch because the tiki torch didn't do anything. Tiki torches used to be cool.
Yeah.
But now you can't have them anymore. We can't have nice things because people co-opted fucking tiki torches.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've gone way off topic. Let's bring it back to the program here today. We're talking to an awesome with awesome sauce, Szechuan awesome sauce.
Ooh, they're my favorite.
The amazing Donna Burke, who on top of being an amazing voice actress and singer and a whole bunch of other stuff, also is an entrepreneur. So in 2004, you struck an entrepreneurial chord and created Hotties.
Hotties, not hot teas. We went over this before the show.
Right.
You sound like a porn show. And not that I've got anything against that. Hot teas. It'll solve all your problems. Get the hot teas. Go to the football with the hot teas.
Yeah, well, I mean, the fact that you spelled it like hot tea.
This week on Hot Teas.
Yeah, it's like
what kind of audio drama is this going to be? I came to fix the pipes. Anyway, you created Hotties. A company that exports Japanese heat pads worldwide. How'd you do it and how's it going?
It's going great. And how I did it was I got my singing manager at the time to buy 3 packs and research who made them, contact them, and the one of them that had the least, the smallest minimum order, I went with them and put it on a ship. Completely no idea what I'm doing, but I totally believed that it would sell because I'm from Perth, which is a city that's on the desert, and all of my family were begging me for these things, and they're pretty healthy, but back pain, period pain. I thought, on my own family, there must be heaps of people who just would love it, but they just don't know it exists. So in the first year, I just got on the phone and found physio people to sell it, and that just word of mouth. It's a really word of mouth product. And once people started using it, it's like crack cocaine. Give them the first one free and they'll keep coming back. That was my business model. It worked.
If you can find a product like that,
Donna, can we just make you an honorary American?
Sure.
I mean, come on. You could talk like a Southerner.
I can talk.
Yeah. You sell products like you sell drugs, just like Americans.
I sell make yourself feel warm and fuzzy inside drugs called Hotties.
Those
That's
are the
right.
best.
Shit.
They're the best.
Do you drive a Camaro with a T-top? Because if you do, you just might be my long-lost cousin. And your name is Donna.
So I wish I need to find out what that actually reference means, but perhaps I do drive a Camaro with a thing. But so I always had a dodgy back. I was always in pain, and I was using these hotties, like the Japanese versions, like candy, and it is a great product because people just keep using it again and they one use only, and then so yeah. So obviously you started exporting them to Australia, and now you're exporting them worldwide. Is Australia still your main market? It totally is, because back in the day, gather around children, I'm about to tell you a story. So we sold 2 40-foot containers to America, a fantastic importer who sells to Whole Foods and everything, because my product is the eco-friendly type. Then 2007, 2008, the Lehman shock happened, and everything went to shit because the Japanese yen went from 125 to 75. It completely flipped.
Yep, I remember that.
And so then they could not afford to buy. They couldn't afford to buy this product to make money. So that was a disaster, massive disaster. Just recovering from that, 2011, bloody earthquake. So, yeah, and when COVID happened, and my business has done fine. Sales were affected a bit in Australia, but it's like, finally something, worldwide disaster that hasn't sent my business to shit, because twice it happened. And so the third time's a charm, everyone. So if you're having a really shitty COVID, don't worry, the next shitty thing will happen, but then the third thing, you'll be fine.
Third time's a charm.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's not just business advice, that's life advice.
Thank you. You're welcome. I dispense it for free.
I think the heat pads are genius to bring them overseas, because one of my Japanese friends uses them all the time, and I had never used them, but as soon as I started using them, also, like you mentioned, I got addicted to them. And they don't have anything like that in America, right?
In America and Australia, if you're in pain, you take a pill.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, over-the-counter drugs are so prevalent. I mean, you can buy over-the-counter drugs that in Japan don't require a prescription. And
Right,
honestly, a lot of the over-the-counter drugs that you can buy in America, you probably should need a prescription for. I mean, like, literally, like, there's this huge list of drugs that used to be over-the-counter in America. Then there was a rap song about it, and now you can't buy it over-the-counter anymore.
Same thing in Australia. Used to buy codeine mixed with ibuprofen, but yeah. So Japanese.
Those rappers, they ruined over-the-counter drugs for us. It's a shame.
But yeah.
Fast forward to 2014, and you were one of the key voices in Metal Gear Solid 5. What was it like to work with Kojima?
It was an honor, and because of the Shinkansen, I actually got that speaking role. So I sang the theme song for Peace Walker in 2010 with Kojima-san, but I never met him except when I sang it at the press conference, and they introduced me to this random Japanese guy. Hello, and then the composer of the songs told me Kojima loves your voice and he wants to give you another song. So in 2012, I'm like, oh, when's another song coming? Oh, yeah, just wait. I had no idea how long video games take to make. And so finally in I think the end of 2012, we started working on demos for Sins of the Father, which is the theme song for, well, not really the theme song, but it's a major song for Metal Gear Solid 5. But also I went on a Kojima podcast, and they were doing the Shinky voice, and Kojima said, can you allowed to do that voice? And I'm like, yeah, it's my voice. And you could see tick, 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 his brain working. And then literally a week later, I got the iDroid role, which is a system voice for Metal Gear Solid 5 and also for Ground Zeroes. So yes, thank you, Shinkansen. I got this major role, voice
and
role.
And so he basically asked you to use the same voice.
He asked me to use the same voice. And he was like, JR's not going to get shitty. I'm like, no, it's my voice. And it's fine. And so it's part of the Easter eggs we put in some, for the Japanese players, not the English game, but we put in some really funny Shinkansen imaginary stations, which were from Kojima's hometown. And so... yeah, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, he was very playful, very fun. His team were really nice.
Did you get to go to that solid white office that everybody talks about?
No, you maybe Kojima Productions. This is back in the day. It was Konami in Midtown.
No. Now he's got this solid white office, and you go in, everything is white, and it's like very disorienting.
That's that was 2016. He opened that. I have not been there.
Well. God damn it. Somebody needs to send old Miss Burke an invite.
I think I'm a bit low down the priority list, but yeah. He was good. He was good to work with.
And Donna, your role in the Metal Gear was iDroid, right? That was the name?
Yeah, the iDroid.
Yeah, so how would you, for people who don't know, how would you describe that?
It is the way Kojima-san described it is it's you are a calming voice in the midst of terrible things happening. You guide the player and you assist them, you help them, and you're always calm, and you're always, which is similar to the Shinkansen, guiding the salaryman to the correct door, making sure that they do not disturb the neighbours. So that was I'm a system guidance voice, and I'm like a Siri in the game.
Oh, kind of like an assistant AI kind of thing?
Yeah, that's it.
Which is really big in video games. I mean, all the AAA games have that character/voice like omnipresent in the game. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So we've talked a lot about your extensive career and some of the awesome things that you've done. I want to talk about something else. And not hit my mic. Apart from your extensive work in many industries, Donna, you are also an accomplished improv comedian and one of the founding members of the Improvazilla improv group, and have been performing since 2009. How did you get into improv?
Well, my best friend Chris Wells, who does all the train voices on the JR lines, this is Nakano Station. The door is on the left. Will open. He is the founder of the Tokyo Comedy Store, and I was at a narration with him, and he said, you should come along to my workshops because I teach improv. So I came along to some of his, and of course I was incredibly good at it. And no, the first few times I went, the first 3 months, I was just like, God, I feel so old. My brain just doesn't work that fast. And, there were so many rules to when you're beginning. There's just incredible. Don't do that. Stop doing that. Do this. And these games, which I'm doing inverted commas, games, they weren't that fun, especially if you're useless at them. But then suddenly my brain clicked, and if you're a really good actor and singer, then you can bring those talents to improv, but you don't have to be. There's really great, wonderful improv players who can't sing, can't act, but they're just fantastic on stage. So, yeah, so it's just a really playful. It's only good if you do it with people you like. It's because the whole thing about improv is adding on to other people's ideas, throwing away your own ideas, yes-anding. So if people are really attached to their own, I've got a really good idea, they're shit at improv because they just want to drive the scene. They don't listen. They're no fun.
So it's like a group project on stage.
Totally. But what's really cool about what we do in the second half is we make a musical from scratch. Now, this is so many people come up after and say, you sure you didn't practice that? You come on. But the guy that we usually have, Kevin McHugh, he's like a world famous for improv, but he also works at the Park Hyatt as a jazz pianist. He just creates songs in the perfect key that would suit my voice or your voice, and then puts a freaking bridge in there, then makes another chorus. And
Whoa.
so I'm just singing a song that I don't know, it just came to me. And he's like doing these incredible chords on the back about my donkey died, because the bloody audience said, we want to hear a musical about a donkey. So, you can't rehearse this. Totally made up, and it is just fucking fantastic. It's like a drug.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
That sounds pretty damn
And it's
cool.
like, and you'll never do it again. It's called throwaway theatre. So
Throwaway theater. You sold it to me. That's funny because I've been to improv. I've heard people talk about improv. I've been told you should try improv, and I just never really got it. But throwaway theater, I'd do that.
Yeah, no lines to learn. But you just got to be.
It's like theater for lazy people.
You got it in one. Welcome to Theatre for Lazy People.
Hell yeah.
I love it.
I can sign up for that tomorrow.
So this improv group, are you guys doing anything soon or recently? Or
The last Friday of the month. I don't always perform, so but it's a fantastic, professional singers and voice actors in Shibuya at the Crocodile, which is a iconic live house. No smoking. All the audience wears a mask. There's food and table service. If you like your potato chips with a Coke, what do you call them? Fries. You call them
French fries.
Freedom fries.
French fries. We got tired of freedom. They're French again.
Okay.
We heard the French didn't like it. We call them French fries, so we decided to call them French fries again.
Oh, that's funny. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi.
Oi, oi.
So so last Friday of the month. But check out Improvizilla on Facebook or online, and yeah.
And so, if you wanted to get into improv, and as you called it, lazy theater.
No, that was you. That was your brilliance.
Excuse me. You've got my interest piqued, and maybe our listeners are also, their interest is piqued.
Great.
If
So
you
just-
wanted to get into improv, what do you do?
Well, look up Improvizilla, and you can see there's classes near Shibuya, in class and online. And Chris Wells, who taught me, is the teacher, and it's he's got his own Studio Gokko. So it's all online. Just you can find it. He's a great teacher. I thoroughly recommend it.
Are they expensive classes?
No, I think it's 2,000 yen for 2 hours.
Whoa.
And there's different levels. So if you've done a bit of theatre, you can jump in at a different level. But I thoroughly recommend it, even if you have no intention of going on stage, because it's wonderful. Unfortunately, for people who are really good at it, sometimes classes can be filled with people who, my boss told me to come here because I've got no personality and I talk over people in meetings and they reckon I should do this. So they're no fun. But it's a place where you learn to listen, and listen and repeat is a great skill to do in life, like listen to someone and then have to repeat back to what they said. Yes and rather than no but, but yes and we could do this, yes and. So there's lots of great skills.
So basically improv class is like teaching you how to be a consultant.
Or be a nice person.
That too.
I kind of want to go there and pretend to be the guy that was forced to go there by his boss and then surprise people later.
Oh, that would be such a dick move.
No, but
it'd be fun.
It sounds
I'll totally tell Chris you're going to do this. So
you can make a character out of that guy too. I don't know. That sounds funny to me.
It's like you're breaking the third wall.
Yeah. But I think you'd get so into it, you'd break character all the time. You'd just like, damn. And then Chris would be like, what? Nothing. And then he'd be like, that guy really hates himself. And then he'd be like, it's not that bad. And you'd be trying to explain, well, I know I'm really good at improv, and it would be so meta. Heads would explode.
Donna, I feel like there's so many things we could talk about, and so many, video game related questions. But, I guess to wrap things up, are there any final remarks or any shout outs you'd like to make?
Shout outs? I'd like to say thank you to my cats for always being there, for always depositing cat hair on my clothes and making me feel loved and proclaiming to the world I am truly loved. Thanks, Archie. Thanks, Nellie. And thank you, Lily.
Oh, you have 4 cats?
3.
Oh, I'm bad at counting.
Oh, yeah.
Did I mention I'm from Tennessee?
That's brilliant.
And so, funny thing, the Liberal Democratic Party has a new poster out, and it's got a picture of a cat on it, and the LDP logo has
I'm totally going to vote
ears.
for them. I'm totally going to vote for them.
Cat ears on the LDP logo.
Oh, wow.
Okay, that's genius. They've got my vote, even though I can't vote.
Taro Kono is a genius. Genius. And he's got a little purple briefcase. Have you seen it?
No.
It's like
I want to see it though. I want to rip it down and put it in my house.
It's this big.
No, wait, I don't need to because I've got 3 cute cats. But yeah, that's genius.
None of the cats would fit in the briefcase. That's how small it is. Other than the cats though, hotties, if you want to, sorry, excuse me. Hotties.
You can buy hotties online on Amazon in the UK and in the US, and if you're in Australia or New Zealand, at Chemist Warehouse and at your local physio. And you can find me on YouTube, and on Twitter I am the Donna Burke. So say hi. I'd love to hear from you. I read all my comments. I read all my comments, and I read all of your comments too. All those bots that I pretend. Oh, damn it! Now everyone knows that.
You are now on the Tokyo Wave podcast. We will now be stopping at the end of the 100th episode, and we will be ending this here episode with a special treat that you aren't ready for, because it's going to be so awesome. It's going to knock your socks off. Then their socks are going to get their socks knocked off too. Well, take it away there, Mr. Podcast Man.
All right, Donna, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
My pleasure. Stay safe, everyone.
Hey, listeners, that's right. You listener right there.
Who do you think should be our next guest on Tokyo Wave? Let us know. Drop us a line at wave@tokyowave.jp.
We hope you enjoyed Tokyo Wave.
If you haven't already, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube.
Join us again next week on Tokyo Wave.
Coming soon on a podcast near you, The Mean Streets of Tokyo Wave, an audio drama brought to you by Tokyo Wave.